pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag, United States,
United States of America,
and to
the
the
Republic,
which
for which
stands
it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
with liberty and justice for all.
George, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you all?
Yeah, you're relaxed, you're smiling,
Yeah,
stress, all your hair's coming back.
if only.
Okay, so the first order of business is the election of officers for 2021. I'll open the floor for nominations. For president?
I vote to keep
I'd like to
everything the
nominate
same.
you for president.
I'm sorry. Could we try that
Richard, do you
again?
have a? Go ahead, Rich.
I nominate Rich Williams to continue to serve as president.
A second.
All right, do we have any other nominations? All right, do you want to go right down the whole list of officers, or do you want to do this one at a time?
whole list.
Go down the whole list. We're on a roll.
All right, can we get nominations for vice president? I would like to nominate Peter
Peter
Parsons
Parsons?
as vice president.
Second,
Do we have any other nominations for vice president? All right, we'll open the floor for
Dan.
nominations for treasurer.
I'd be happy to serve again.
I'm going to nominate Warren Lucas, the one and only.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, we'll open the floor for nominations for secretary. Where'd she go? Joanne's currently secretary.
Yep.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Joanne Daly.
Second that.
secretary.
Second.
Do we have any other nominations? All right. Would somebody like to make a motion on the slate of candidates for the corporation?
I'd like to make a motion to approve all the candidates that were just previously mentioned for the position of president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, I, for one, would like to thank everybody for their support and continue to serve this year as your president.
Thank you, Rich.
thank you.
Everybody else who's volunteered to serve. Next is board evaluations and conflict of interest form. This is a form we have to do every year. I believe you all have a copy of it. Typically, you are held hostage over at the corporation headquarters until you fill this form out. Obviously, we're not doing that this year,
Mary.
meeting by Zoom, but you know, this form is incredibly important that everybody complete and get back to Linda as quickly as you possibly can. We're going to give everybody, I think, a week, and then we're going to start badgering everybody. But I just want to add that this is one of a couple of tasks that everybody has to complete. There is training when you first join the organization from the ABO that you have to do. And you have to do your financial disclosures every year come May. And it's critically important for the corporation that all the officers, essentially supervisors and their representatives,
Chris,
complete all this. So
when
please,
Mark comes in, give the key back to, make sure he parks in the same spot and give the key to,
That's Tony. Tony, your mic's
Step
on.
on mute, bud.
sorry.
Who the hell was that?
Tony's barking some orders.
so please get the form back in as quick as you possibly can to Linda so that you don't have to listen to us constantly harass you for submitting the form. All right, next on the agenda is the appointment of committees. We'll start with the executive committee. We do have an opening, being as Chris Burdick has now moved on to different adventures within the state. We all wish him well, I'm sure. We typically the officers are going to serve on the executive committee as well as, who do we have? We had Kenny Schmidt last year, Mary Ellen Odell, and Joanne Daly, who was also an officer. We had ex officio non-voting members is Sabrina, Rich Franzetti, and Mike Quinn.
Nominate all of them.
All right, we still have one opening from the Westchester community. Does anybody wish from the Westchester community to serve on the executive committee? We get a volunteer.
I made a call this morning to an individual, but he hasn't returned it. I'm assuming that he probably guessed why I was calling and decided not to return.
All right, anybody at all from Westchester community wish to serve on the executive committee?
I'm happy to do it, Rich.
Matt, thank you for stepping up.
Matt, did you know I called you this morning about this?
Oh, no, I guess I read your mind. Happy to do it. No problem.
All right. So then we've got an executive committee of myself, Warren Lucas, Peter Parsons, Kenny Schmidt, Mary Ellen Odell, James Schmidt being represented by Joanne Daly, and Matt Slater. I'd like to move the executive committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, last year, the governance committee was Matt Slater, Chris Burdick, and Kenny Schmidt. Do we have anybody that would like to serve on the governance committee in place of Chris Burdick? Don't all jump up.
I guess I can serve. Am I on it or not?
You are not currently on it.
I'll sit on it.
All right, so we're gonna have Matt Slater, Peter Parsons, and Kenny Schmidt.
I'm sorry, I need to just let you know that, Peter, you are currently on the audit committee. We cannot have the same person serve both governance
Well, I'll
and.
come off the audit committee and.
So,
and go
okay,
to
but
the
then we'll have
governance.
to replace two people for the audit committee because Peter and Chris Burdick were also on the audit committee. That's a little bit of a, a detail I had to let you know.
Joanne, who's on the audit committee?
So the audit committee is currently Peter, Chris, and Mary Ellen Odell.
I'll be on the, if nobody wants to, I'll be on the governance committee, whatever.
Perfect.
All
Yes,
right.
that's
Yes,
fine,
one.
Warren.
Okay, time out. Wait, was Chris Burdick on the governance committee?
Yes.
But how can he have served on the governance committee and
Oh,
audit
that's-
committee?
Good point, good point. He
We'll have
should
to
not
fine
be
him.
both.
I think he gets a fine, $1,000 fine or something. I'll send it out to him.
I think something's wrong here because I think we discussed this last year because of Chris being on both. And Warren, you served on one. You served on the audit committee. So this is what I'm looking at. Chris was not on both. He had volunteered to be on both. The issue came up and Warren, you stepped in last year, just as you are doing now. So that will work.
It's not something that meets a lot, so
No, it's only monthly I send information out, or for the audit committee, it's year end I send information out. For the governance committee, annually I send these board evaluations. It's not involved. It's a report maybe once a month that I email. I don't need any, active meetings or anything like that. So shall we go back?
Motion on the governance committee that we appoint Matt Slater, Warren Lucas, and Ken Schmidt.
Perfect.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're down to the audit committee is currently Peter Parsons. I'm not sure who it is because I have Chris Burdick,
Right.
Mary Ellen Odell.
We need to fill one position there.
We need to fill one position on the audit committee. Anyone?
I'll step up.
Thank you.
Kevin. Oh, great. Rick.
Yes, Peter.
All right. Thank you for volunteering, Rick. So for the audit committee, we have Peter Parsons, Rick Morrissey, and Mary Ellen Odell. I'd like to make a motion that we approve that committee.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, finance committee, we have Warren Lucas, Tony Hay, and Sam Oliverio. Is everybody still willing to volunteer for that committee?
Yes.
All right,
I have to say too, by the way, Sam puts out the best, most uplifting emails all the time.
all the time. Listen,
Great.
he always does.
Thank you.
No matter how much, no matter what I say and how screwed up, he always says, Warren, fantastic job.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Warren Lucas, Tony Hay, and Sam Oliverio for the finance committee.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and last committee, technical committee, we have Michael Quinn, Ed Brancati, Sabrina Charney Hull, and Rich Franzetti. You're all willing to continue to serve in that capacity?
yes,
Somebody want to make a motion to approve those people on the technical committee?
I'll
So
make the
moved.
motion. I'll
Do we have a
second.
second? Did we get a second?
Yes, I seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we need to readopt the Eastern Hudson Watershed Corporation policy, starting with the banking relationships. We have a resolution. Somebody want to introduce the resolution?
Joanne, are you happy with the current relationships?
Yes, this does not change anything from the previous year. This is for our bank accounts at M&T Bank and for our two brokerage accounts, one at M&T Securities and one at Ramirez and Company. There's no need to change anything at this time.
And I have to say, both M&T and Ramirez, they've been fantastic to work with.
make a motion to approve the resolution designating the authorized financial institutions for accounts as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a resolution approving the code of ethics for 2021.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a resolution readopting the mission statement with performance measures.
so moved.
Did we change it? Is that what we did? We added performance measures?
That was on last year, Warren.
Yep.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Changed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have the readoption of the procurement policy.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You know, this is so much more fun if we're doing this in person. All right, we have a
You may want to
slightly,
ask if there are any no's. You're just assuming everybody's saying yes.
I don't hear anybody no, so.
I know.
We have a slightly modified sexual harassment policy. A resolution to readopt the sexual harassment policy.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any no's? Warren's voting no.
No, I put my hand down after I said yes. I'm into sexual, I mean, I'm for it.
All right, let's move on.
I'm not for sex. Yeah, forget it. I'm not doing it.
Let's move on quickly before Warren gets into more trouble.
All right, does
Warren,
any
this is
board
being
member have
recorded.
any other business they would like to discuss?
Rich, I have a question about who the two call-ins are, if they would identify themselves.
Well, I think Heather's on for Chris Burdick, if that's who you're talking about.
No, they're phone-ins, and one's from 914-763-3151.
It's
That
Peter.
was me because I couldn't originally get in live.
Okay, and the other is 845-319-6349. Ah, thank you. Okay, that's cleared up. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I do have one other last piece of business that I wish to bring up before the board. and that's the recognition of George Rodenhausen. George has been dealing with watershed affairs probably longer than I have, and that says something. George, I met George back around 1995, even before the 1997 memorandum of agreement that he was a key participant in, helped Putnam County negotiate it. And we have prepared a proclamation recognizing George Rodenhausen for his service to the Eastern Watershed Corporation, which Linda has a copy of, and I'd just like to read it for everybody. Whereas the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation, representing 19 municipalities, was found in 2011 for the purpose of attaining regional compliance with the requirements of the MS4 permit applicable to the East of Hudson municipalities. And whereas George Rodenhausen was instrumental in the creation of the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation and has served as counsel to the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation since its inception. And whereas George Rodenhausen's unparalleled dedication and commitment to the mission of the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation had led to its success and recognition as a leader in regional cooperation and stormwater management. And whereas George Rodenhausen's insight has been an asset to those tasked with making decisions that have long lasted implications on New York State watershed regulation and MS4 requirements. And whereas the attorney for the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation, George, has always been accessible and very easy to work with, his expertise and extensive legal knowledge enabled him to provide an opinion or to answer a question in a way that demonstrated sound legal judgment and clarity on any issue. And whereas George Rodenhausen is a dedicated public service whose contributions are noteworthy and far-reaching, he has worked diligently on behalf of the member municipalities and possessed a work ethic that was second to none. And whereas the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation wishes to honor George Rodenhausen, thank him for his dedicated service to the corporation and the 19 member municipalities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation hereby issues this proclamation to George Rodenhausen in recognition of his outstanding service and extends our appreciation and gratitude for years of commitment and dedication. And be it further resolved that the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation would like to express our deepest gratitude to George Rodenhausen for his many years of dedication and service to the corporation. And we sincerely wish him good health and happiness in the years to come.
Wow. Thank you.
George, we truly do thank you for all that you've done for us and all that you've meant to us. And, you know, you're going to have some big shoes to fill. You're not being here. I know Christine is going to be able to do an outstanding job, you know, trying to fill them. But George, we're going to miss you. We really are going to miss you.
And if I could just say something from the Westchester point of view, when we started the Northern Westchester Watershed Consortium, we were actually further behind Putnam at the time. And I think the first meeting I was in, I think it was probably 2010, it may have been over in Yorktown. You were involved and we came out of that and you actually, I think, pulled us, you're the one that pulled us all together and kind of helped us create this thing. So, you know, I just want to thank you very much, George. Your leadership was very much appreciated through all this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let me just say, I've been doing this now for almost 30 years. I started back in 1991 and Rich was around. I know we hadn't gotten together at that point because I was working for the legislature for the one and only Jim Gordon, who was my first contact with the watershed, and what a wonderful guy he was, and always a fighter for the local towns, and great memories of him. We miss him very much. But that led to 6 or 7 years until we got the MOA done. And by the way, Chris was there with me all that time. Chris Shaw was in the same room with me negotiating that MOA until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
With New York City. That was quite a time. But it's been great being with everyone. And I was really happy when Westchester came in 2010 and we formed this corporation. And I think it's a great example of towns and cities and counties and villages all working together. I think it's a great example, and you're going to see a lot more of this hopefully in the future. And I also hope that you can carry this on with a broader menu than we've had in the past. I see little inklings of that, and I certainly think it's a great way to go. But thanks so much. I really love working with you all, especially with the executive committee, one of the best committees I ever worked with as a client. And I just can't say enough for the quality of the supervisors who have been spending the time every month overseeing the work of this corporation. A great group. But thanks everyone. I really appreciate that proclamation, and I'll keep it close to me. Thanks very much.
Thank you,
George.
George.
Thank you. Thank you, George.
Thank you,
George.
Okay, so before we all run away, I just want to remind everybody that this is the annual meeting, and we've got a quarterly meeting right behind this, so don't anybody log out. Can I get a motion to adjourn the annual meeting?
So moved.
Second.
You want us to end the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'd like to open the quarterly meeting. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance again, one more time. You all. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Flag.
Of
the United States of America,
And to
to the republic
republic
for which it stands,
One nation.
one nation,
Under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty.
and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from October 13th, the last quarterly meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Joe, would you like to tell everybody what's going on with finances?
Yes, so the reports you received are preliminary reports because, as you know, the month of January, we will still be processing payment requests for December. So these are just preliminary before the audit. The audit will also give us some more entries that will change a little bit these reports. But year to date for 2020, our expenditures totaled 2.5 million versus 1.7 million last year. Our current fund balance is $18 million, with 2.9 of that as Putnam Quip funds, 4.1 million as Westchester Quip funds, and 11 million FAD funds. Our investments are currently valued as of December 31st at 7.9 million. 6.4 is in treasuries and 1.5 million is in CDs. As you all know, with interest rates coming down, we are not reinvesting as these are maturing, and we are putting the cash to use with our FAD projects and Quip projects too. Currently, we have open contracts in the amount of balances remaining on open contracts total $683,873. The FAD breakdown, because most of our funding is FAD funding right now, our total commitments in contracts were 4.6 million as of now. And of those projects and commitments, we've got most of the work done with only $386,446 left on those signed contracts. And as you all know, Kevin keeps going out looking for more of these FAD projects within the FAD basins. That's everything on the reports. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, and we do have January 15th of 2021 as our deadline to get those final submissions in for anything now, the month of December 2020. I will have to get that information in by January 15th in order to meet my deadlines for the audit.
All right, thank you. Linda, all these documents that are being referenced went out to all the board members, did they not?
They did, yes.
Okay. So, Maureen, did you not get them, or?
Did I not get them?
No, I got them. I was just thinking that while talking about them, if they could be on the screen rather than viewing it like, oh, those of us, it would just be an efficient way to do this. I mean, I love seeing all your faces, but seeing the documents up on the screen might be helpful.
Okay, Maureen, these are documents that are similar every single year. The conflict of interest form has not changed and the board evaluation has not changed. So
Yeah, no, so when I was talking about like the financial documents that were going to be about the project list, all of that stuff.
usually those are reviewed ahead of time, but if we can discuss with Linda, I don't know how that would work to get that shown on the screen. If you have any questions, Maureen, please don't hesitate to
Yeah, I
contact.
mean,
Yeah,
I'll
I
pull
mean,
it up on my
it can
phone.
easily be put on the screen. Who's ever in charge of the meeting can
Yeah.
show their computer screen and be able to show it. I think it's not an unreasonable request. It's certainly done in every other Zoom meeting that I've been a part of, so.
Sure. Going forward, I will do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
good suggestion. All right.
The list
Joe, do
of
you want
due
to do a list of reporting and filing dates, or did you?
Right. Again, we don't have it on the screen, but we do follow up every year with all of these requirements. And our auditor in particular is very interested in seeing, most importantly, the conflict of interest and the financial disclosures. So that is something I need to present by the end of January to our auditor. Most of them for 2020 are done. I've now started, the phone is ringing here, but I have now started to create the 2021 list. Okay, Linda, you put it up there, great. And we'll just keep following up. And everyone, knows, again, this is something that we do every single year. So the O&M forms have come in, most of them for 2020. So again, we give until January 15th just for residual, for missing anything. I work very closely with the towns to make sure I have everything I need. And then by the end of January, I will be completely done with my accounting. And the auditor usually shows up the first or second week of February so that we could get the tax returns done for our March meeting. I guess we discussed it at the end of the March EC meeting to move forward to approve to do the tax returns. So everything's moving forward.
All right, I just want to point out that attached to the schedule is also a compliance schedule for all the individuals participating in the corporation. So if everybody could just take a look at that and make sure you're all up to date and everything is okay, we'd appreciate it.
I do have a question on that, and I'm just looking at my own name. It says financial disclosure due 5/15 each year, and I have it down as not. I assume it's not done. I thought I had.
Yeah, so Warren, I was speaking about that this morning with Kevin and Linda. I think what may happen is for those of you that are in Westchester, you may fill out something for Westchester because you are the supervisors there. But however, you need to
Doing
do
it for
it.
Putnam. I may not have done it last year, but my question
Yeah.
is 5/15 of 2020, right? It was due.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And now again, the one as of 12/31/20 will be due by May 15th, 21. And again, everyone in Westchester must sign on to the Putnam County website, the link that I send you, to do it on the Putnam County website because our corporation is in Putnam County. We're physically located in Putnam County. So all of you are required alternates, employees, all of us on this phone call should be doing, well, except for, any guests, should be doing this financial disclosure as of 12/31/20 by May.
Okay.
And I'm happy to send the link to anyone who does not have it. Just email me or Linda. We have the link that brings you right into the Putnam County site to do that online.
What I'll do, just because that's a very easy one to do, and I see there's about 10 people, most of them from Westchester, that haven't done it. I will send the link out to everybody individually that needs to do it. Just remind them.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
Okay, Kevin. A little bit about the projects we have going.
All right, so we currently are sitting at approximately 605 kilograms of credit with the DEC. And the program as a whole for approved projects, which we have as part of the work plans, has certainly exceeded our 920 kilogram requirement. In addition to the year 10 work plan, we're currently sitting at 1,310 projects which have been accepted by the DEC for us to move forward with. Now, those, as I said, it's 620 kilograms that we have in credit, but we have far more projects which we can move forward and look at. A lot of those projects are currently located, especially in year 10 work plan, within Westchester County. And in order to move forward with many of those projects, we do need to continue looking at the availability of funding for the corporation for non-FAD projects. Many of you, I'm certain, have seen emails which may have gone around for the consolidated funding application process for New York State, and a lot of money which is available for us to begin pursuing. So I'm going to be working with the executive committee to determine who should be the applicant for many of those grant opportunities, whether or not it makes the most sense for East of Hudson to lead the charge with that, or if we're going to need to coordinate with the individual municipalities and ask them to submit the applications. But there's a lot of funding that's available out there that we want to pursue, and I think it's imperative that we concentrate on Westchester County for that. The current projects that we have, which are active, I'm expecting a good deal of items to go to construction or installation within the spring, early summer. There's a lot of big numbers which are finally coming to a point in the design process where we're getting final permits or final points of installation agreements that we can then execute these items within this calendar year, and it's going to be a big swing of kilograms once we get those installed. If there's any specific questions on projects, by all means, always reach out to me. I'd be happy to speak with anyone about current projects or anything that's coming up in the future. But you know, it's certainly, we want to keep pushing ahead and start the year off on a good foot.
Any questions?
Kevin, and you know, we hear about this because we're involved in the regular meetings, but the catch basin inserts, if you could just comment on them and how they're working out, because I think there's probably a lot of other areas where they can go, and they seem to be pretty low hanging fruit.
Yes. So to start off with the catch basin inserts, what we did was targeted a lot of private property, specifically the Metro North train line. And we have a large commuter lot in Mount Kisco, which we've been negotiating with the property owner in the town to get installation there. These inserts have been working great. I feel the response from the manufacturer, Fabco, has been fantastic. They've been attentive to what we need to do. Of course, with a lot of these installations, since they are on private property, that's the biggest obstacle, is getting the private property owner to actually buy into what we're looking to do here. But I think especially now that we have the ability to start looking at probably more the municipal lots, I think the municipal lots are the low-hanging fruit that we can kind of grab. You know, so we'll be looking at the town hall parking lots, any municipally owned commuter lots that we can grab, any streets. There's a few projects within specifically in the FAD basins that we've been targeting the most recently in 6 months that I expect to be going in within probably early spring and early summer. But there's a lot that we can get in immediately with those projects, and I hope everybody can continue to look on their own properties to see whether or not there's the availability to grab sites.
Well, Kevin, just for, you want to put on your radar, the MTA is planning on putting in a 400-car parking lot on Clinton Falls Road, which you may want to approach them with these type of catch basin inserts in their design, because they're in that process as we speak.
Yeah, it's going out to, I think they're putting it out to contract shortly, not to bid, if not contract. They may be, I think they're signing the contracts. They expect it to be built in 2021. So it's right.
Okay. The problem with that, I think that's a great idea, and thank you for the heads up, Rick. The problem I think there is going to be that is going to be classified as new construction, unless this is an existing parking lot that they're going to try to update and repurpose. But if they're going in and creating new construction on that site, we actually would not be able to provide them with any funding or get any kilogram reduction there. But
if the site is currently being used, is part of the site being used for parking today?
Yeah.
St. Joseph's School and Church.
St. Joseph.
Right. So
there?
So there's an existing parking lot there which we could factor in for credits, Kevin.
Oh, great. Then I'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we could what we can do there. So far, we've had a lot of, I guess a term I would use would be pushback from Metro North. They're not quite open to us installing our inserts. We've had a hard time in the negotiations. We have been able to get a few in, but there's a reluctance of Metro North to work with us on these cases.
Well, Kevin, we control the roads in and out of their construction site. So if we have to close them for some reason and delay things,
That's a good idea. I'll reach out, see if we have to come to that point.
Right.
Don't feel bad, Kevin. They have a reluctance to work with all of us.
Hey, Kevin.
The other benefit about these, and one of the reasons I just wanted to bring it up is they cost, by the time they're put in, they cost a couple of grand per catch basin. So they're extremely efficient from a money point of view, and they do a pretty good job at removing phosphorus. Hopefully around some of our lake community catch drainage systems around Peach Lake that's scheduled to go there. But if you have even that in your town, if you have some communities, town roads, you want to put them in, they're a great bang for the buck.
They really are, and the construction period is about 2 days. We're in and out with installing these things in no time.
I think you did the Crum Falls MTA parking lot, which we control. It was about 2 days.
Kevin, I just want to point out, even though it's new construction, if we are going over and above the regulatory requirements that they need to meet, we should be able to get credit for anything over and above.
Correct, yes.
So it might be a good idea to look at the design and see what they're doing and see if there's anything we can do in addition.
Great, will do.
Okay. All right, who would like to discuss O&M?
That would be me. So we are starting to get closer to all submittals into the office here. We're going to do a head count and make sure we can notify everybody who has not submitted. Again, it is your responsibilities to contact whoever it is doing the maintenance in your town, whether it's the Parks and Rec, your Highway Department, your DPW. Make sure that these submittals have in fact come in, because we'd hate to leave anybody holding on to a bill for a whole calendar year for no reason. So make sure your municipality has reached out to us. We will get a checklist of who's still outstanding and work with you, but you're running out of time to get these into us. Secondly, I wanted to touch on one of the requirements which we want to make sure every town is aware of for New York State, and that's in the case of any major storms that do come through, you do need to do a drive-by. Get your eyes on these retrofits. Make sure they're functioning as intended, that we don't have a tree that uprooted and is sitting in the middle of the pond. Something simple like that. But it is a requirement that we make sure these things are functioning after any major storm events. While we haven't had any 4-inch rain events, we definitely have had extremely strong winds that have come through that leads us to think that there may be good deal of branches which may have fallen down, or whatever the case is. So always keep your eyes open for those items, and please instruct your DPWs to do the same Whenever we go out to meetings in the site, we routinely do drive-bys on these items to make sure they're functioning correctly. But you all need to do the same.
Okay. Does any member or director have anything they wish to bring up that hasn't been discussed at this time? Any questions? All right, listen, I personally would like to thank everybody for their participation in the corporation and those that volunteer. It is very, very important that we all participate to the maximum and stay involved in this corporation. I think we're going to have a very busy year for the corporation this year. We're looking at potentially a new MS4 permit coming out. Everybody should have that on their radar. Some of us are participating in calls with the DEP, talking about the report that was released by the National Academy of Science, which is a precursor to the new FAT agreement. And we really need to get focused on finding new sources of revenue to keep this corporation going this year. And we may have some shakeups in the staff coming up that we are going to have to deal with. So as some people are getting ready to retire, fortunately. So it's very, very important to, for everybody to participate. And I thank you all for that. So
I could just,
nothing else. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Rich, could I just make one comment? This is
Yes.
Warren. First of all, thank you for your leadership, but I just wanted to, I think, and I don't know everybody here, but I saw Maureen, I think I know everybody here, excuse me. Mary Ann Carr, I think she's Deputy Supervisor Bedford. Is that you, Mary Ann?
Yes, yes. Good morning, everyone. I am currently Deputy Supervisor. However, tonight I'm supposed to be appointed Supervisor. So I'm Deputy for a few more hours and then I will become Supervisor of Bedford.
Yeah, so as you know, Chris left and I just wanted to welcome Mary Ann. Welcome.
Congratulations, Mary.
I see Heather there also, and
Thank
she
you.
actually has Chris Burdick's name there, so I'm not sure, Heather, but thank you for joining also.
Yes, thank you so much. It's I look forward to working with this team of people and just, yeah, it's a lot of information to absorb and I'm looking forward to the learning and contributing however I can.
Well,
Heather, I assume that you're here representing Assemblyman Chris Burdick, right?
Yes, I'm for everybody that doesn't know me, which is probably most of you, I'm Chris Burdick's Chief of Staff. So we just started and he thought he'd be able to get on this, but he wasn't able to, so he apologizes.
Dumped us already. Okay, we'll remember.
I should also maybe update the group. As of last night, I am now the mayor for the Village of Pauling.
Somehow I knew you were going to get there.
Lori, congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, Lori.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
That was it, Chris. Rich, excuse me.
Move to adjourn.
Do we have a
Second.
second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you,
Thanks.
Rich.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
New year,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye. Happy New Year.